Dear Boomers, the end of violence. The 31st verse of the Tao Te Ching. Let's think about this, because will violence ever end in this 3D dimension? So today we will explore this concept, a call for peace that transcends time and culture. Lao Tzu reminds us that true civilization cannot be measured by the sophistication of our weapons, but by the depth of our wisdom and love. Lao Tzu asks us to begin to see the use of physical or verbal weapons as unwanted responses. Think about that for one moment. Every time we lash out with words, every time we feel the need to defend or prove ourselves, we are stepping away from the Tao, from the way, from the harmony, from the flow of life itself. We need to, in our hearts, radiate nothing but goodwill for all. What if we no longer felt compelled to fight, not even with words? What if we understood that defending ourselves, justifying ourselves, or condemning others are all forms of resistance to peace, and dare I say, forms of violence? When we abandon the weapons of violence, whether physical or emotional, we align ourselves with the wisdom of the Tao. We become part of a quiet revolution, one that measures progress not in destruction, but in compassion. Not in destruction, but in compassion. The verse also reminds us to discontinue celebrating death or violence in any form. This means turning away from glorification of war and vengeance, even in our entertainment, even in the news. When we fill our minds with images of killing, we dull our reverence for life itself. Instead, let us teach our children and remind ourselves that every life is sacred. Every life is sacred. Every so-called victory achieved through violence is, in truth, a funeral to be mourned. A funeral to be mourned. When we think about peace, peace begins in the smallest of places, within our thoughts, our breath, and our home. When we choose to be calm over conflict, when we choose to listen instead of react, when we choose love instead of fear, we change the vibration of the entire planet. This is how we disarm the world, by disarming our own hearts. Let us be the elders who model gentleness in a culture that glorifies aggression. Let us be the generation that turns away from hatred and walks towards not only understanding, but pure love, pure joy, pure creativity. And let us honor the truth that every act of peace, no matter how small, reverberates through eternity. This is so wise. It's a spiritual practice, and we think about this every day. Lao Tzu once said, "Weapons are instruments of fear. They are not a wise man's tools." So today, let us put down our weapons, both visible and invisible, and walk the path of the Tao. Please subscribe to the channel, and instructions for getting into the Dear Boomers community is right below us. The path of the Tao, where life itself is our sacred teacher. Love to all.